Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you watched part one, you know that I talked about the side effects that kind of surprised me the most when I started a GLP-1. And yes, I actually am wearing the same shirt as part one, but it is a totally different day. But I am just a regular mom that wears, the same 10 articles of clothing throughout the week. So here it is. But anyway, we talked about like the nausea, the fatigue, the low appetite, and how trying to parent through all of that can be pretty overwhelming. So today I want to share the habits that actually changed everything for me. I realized pretty quickly that I couldn't just hope to feel better one day. I needed to develop a routine that actually worked with the medication instead of constantly fighting it. And these aren't medical tips. These are simply my habits from my real life that I am sharing from myself to you guys that have just helped me function and feel more like myself on this journey. So the first thing that I changed was when I took my injection. So timing of your injection. And you really have to think about this kind of how it works within your weekly schedule. You can't just go throw it in whenever you want, or whenever you feel like, or whenever you have the time, because you're going to end up being exhausted in like the busiest part of your week. So you really have to plan ahead. I know that the first day after my injection is when I am feeling the most tired or sometimes a little nauseous in the morning. So instead of scheduling my injection on a Friday when I have a weekend full of, kids' birthday parties, grocery shopping, or we're going camping, I do my injection on Wednesday nights. So Thursday, which is typically a slower day at work for me because I do have a regular full-time job. This YouTube channel is just a little part-time thing. So Thursdays is typically more slower at work, and I know that I can usually take that day as my lazy day, and it just gives me a little bit more breathing room. And that doesn't mean that life always cooperates, because if you're a mom, you know that it usually doesn't. But just having the lower expectations of myself for that day made the world of difference mentally for me. Because even though I can't really like communicate with my kids, they're only 2.5 and 4.5, they don't know what's going on. But if you do have older kids, you can tell them ahead of time, like, hey, Thursday is going to be a slower day. Dinner might be, leftovers or takeout, or fend for yourself if you have, teenagers or something like that. It's the mindset shift that will help you feel more prepared instead of frustrated. The second thing that changed my experience was realizing that I couldn't rely on hunger anymore, right? Because before a GLP-1, hunger reminds you to eat. But now I can go hours before realizing I haven't even eaten anything. And then when I get to that point, I'm like shaky, I'm irritable, and I'm wondering why I feel suddenly terrible. And for me, that almost always comes back to not eating enough protein. So instead of waiting until I'm hungry, I created this protein first system. So every morning I ask myself, where is my protein coming from today? Sometimes it's a protein shake. I love those Fairlife Core Power, like 42 gram chocolate ones. They actually taste like chocolate milk, like a chocolate shake. They don't have that weird protein aftertaste. If you know, you know. Sometimes it'll just be that for breakfast or for lunch. Sometimes it's a protein yogurt. Sometimes if I'm doing a hot coffee, I will do my hot protein coffee, which I will link. I made a short about it up above. Some of you guys have been asking about it. And I always keep protein bars in the pantry stocked because it's just such an easy thing to grab quickly, especially when I start to feel that way, shaky, irritated, exhausted. I know I need to grab a protein bar real quick. Because for me, if that healthy option, that protein forward option isn't easy to grab, chances are I'm gonna skip it, or I'm gonna make a bad choice that's gonna make me feel bad later. And another thing on top of that is I've learned that your protein intake doesn't have to come from a huge meal anymore. It can just be a protein shake. Your dinner can just be a protein shake, and that's fine. Some Greek yogurt or protein yogurt, like the Oikos 000, they're really good. Every little thing that you have throughout the day, it adds up. Now, this next section is all about my water strategy. Of course, I always have my electrolytes on me. My three favorites right now are always gonna be my Liquid IV Sugar-Free White Peach. I love the Waterboy Daily Hydration one. This has less sodium in some of the other ones, so you can drink this like every day. and Bub's Hydrate or Die, this mixed berry flavor. These ones are less sweet than the Liquid IV, so depending on what mood I'm in, if I am craving something sweet, I'm gonna go with this, or if I just want something to sip on while I'm, you know, going throughout my day or with my meal, I'll typically choose something less sweet. Or just plain water. I drink plain iced water all day, every day. Now, for some people, they don't like water, they don't like plain water. That's fine. So if you need to enhance plain water, electrolytes are the way to go. So not only are you getting the flavor, but you're getting the benefits of the electrolytes and the vitamins, whatever else is in there too. But this, you need a good water bottle that you can count on and that you trust. And I say trust because this is my best friend, my emotional support water bottle here. This goes with me everywhere. I carry it around the house. I bring it up to bed with me. I bring it in the car with me. I did recently just buy another one, so now I have two that I rotate throughout the week. And then I do the replacement straws, because the straws that come with these simple modern tumblers, they're just a little bit too big for me. Like, they remind me of like milkshake straws. That it just, like, one of these things is not like the other. Like, I shouldn't be gulping water through a milkshake straw. Like, I like the thinner, smaller straws, which you can get on Amazon. And everything that I'm talking about here, I will link down below so you guys can take a look at for yourself and see if you can implement, you know, any of these changes to really help like your week to week strategy, let's call it. So anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. So dehydration really makes everything worse. It makes your nausea worse. It makes your fatigue worse. It gives you headaches. And I felt like hydration deserved its own section in this video because people underestimate how important it is. And I think having like a large water bottle like this, like a 40 ounce, it sounds like a simple, easy change, but it's so easy having this with me everywhere that I can just sip on this throughout the day instead of trying to play catch up and chug a bunch of water at once. So when it's really hot outside, or if I know I'm gonna be outside, I definitely have these on hand. I usually don't add it to this. I will add it to like a plastic water bottle and keep them kind of separate because I like to drink my electrolytes, but I also like to have plain water that I sip in between. Because yeah, I am like a 3-drink girly. If you're into those memes, I usually have one to hydrate, one to caffeinate, and one alcoholic. I don't know what they call the third one, but you know, real world experience. These came in clutch when we just went to a water park in Disney World in July. And if you know anything about Central Florida in July, it is like being on the surface of the sun covered in tinfoil. And I basically only had a protein bar for breakfast, and we were waiting in line. This was around lunchtime, so coming up to the hottest part of the day. We were waiting in line for one of the water slides with, you know, my husband, my parents, and the kids, and I started feeling very faint. I knew that my blood pressure was dropping. And it was because I needed hydration. I was not drinking enough water. So I got through the line. Of course, it had to just be the longest line that we waited in that entire trip, actually. But when we got back to our little cabana area, I popped one of these into a water bottle. Right then and there, I chugged it because I was like not feeling good at all. I thought I was going to pass out. And then probably within like 20 minutes, I felt better. So these are life-changing, game changers. I keep them on me and around me at all times. Staying hydrated is basically a non-negotiable for me. This next one took me a while to accept because I kept trying to eat like I was before getting on a GLP-1. 3 large meals, finishing everything on the plate, or just eat because it was lunchtime, but my body wasn't responding the same way anymore. And now I eat much smaller portions throughout the day. Some people can call it snacking. I like to call them micro meals. So maybe it's a half a sandwich, maybe it's a few bites of chicken and some vegetables, Greek yogurt with some granola or some nuts and fruit, you know, trail mix mixed in, cottage cheese on toast, which is like one of my favorite hyperfixation meals. Whatever sounds manageable for you, you gotta do you. And who cares what other people think? And I've learned, and a lot of people on this journey have to learn, that it's okay to leave food on your plate. Honestly, that's something that a lot of people probably work on, me included, for a long time, but that's a healthy change. So this one might be my favorite tip because it's helped me let go of a lot of the guilt. I always have a backup plan. There are days when I simply just do not feel my best. So instead of pretending that those days aren't gonna happen, I just prepare for them. That means having easy dinners in the freezer, paper plates instead of the real plates when cleaning up from dinner feels overwhelming. Simple activities for the kids. I let my kids watch TV and watch their iPads. I literally don't care what other people think because they are not in my shoes, they are not in my household. Other things like coloring, just playing with their toys. Instead of watching TV, I'll turn the TV off and they just play with their toys. I stopped expecting myself to be super mom every single day because that's just not realistic, first of all. Sometimes surviving the day is enough, and honestly, that's okay. So the biggest lesson that I've learned through all of this is to stop powering through my side effects. Instead, I built routines that support me and help me. And this doesn't mean that every day is perfect. I still have days where I feel tired and exhausted. I still have days where food doesn't sound good at all. But now these days just don't completely throw me off because I have planned for them. Consistency doesn't come from feeling motivated every day. It comes from creating these systems that make healthy choices easier. So if you're a busy mom navigating this journey, I hope this video reminds you that you don't have to do everything perfectly. These small little changes and small routines really do add up. And if this video helped you, I'd love for you to save it so that you can come back to it on the harder days. And let me know in the comments, which one of these routines do you think will help you the most, or that you might implement if you don't already? Or what's one thing that has made your GLP-1 journey easier? Also, any of the products or anything that I've mentioned in this video, I will link down below in the description for you in case you want to check them out for yourself. And don't forget to subscribe, because in part 3, we're talking about the mental shift that kind of made this lifestyle feel sustainable, not just like another diet. So if you haven't seen part 1, check it out here. I will link it right here. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.